This story is titled, "My Family Forgot My Birthday for the 5th year in a row until they heard I won the lottery." Suddenly, my inbox lit up with happy birthday messages. So I invited them all to a fancy dinner. What I announced over dessert made my aunt vomit on her plate. Yesterday was my birthday. Again. And like the last 4 years, not a single text, call, or passive-aggressive Facebook post from my family. Nothing. Just silence. That is, until news broke that I'd won the lottery. Then my phone practically melted from the sheer force of sudden affection. But let me back up and set the stage. I'm Dean, 44M, currently self-employed and recently, as of 2 weeks ago, absurdly lucky. Like, people you haven't spoken to since high school suddenly want to grab coffee kind of lucky. I matched 5 numbers in the Powerball, and just like that, my bank account stopped gasping for air and started doing laps in an Olympic pool. Before the jackpot, my birthday was just a date I dreaded, because nothing screams midlife crisis like your family ignoring you for half a decade while still tagging you in group photos like you're a damn placeholder. Let's talk about the cast of this tragicomedy. My mom, Barbara, 68F, who believes giving birth was her ultimate gift to me and therefore her job is done. My sister, Jenny, 41F, the Instagram momfluencer who forgets my birthday, but never misses a chance to remind me that I'm just an IT guy. My brother-in-law, Matt, 43M, a walking LinkedIn profile in human form. And my Aunt Carol, 60s, who only shows up for funerals, free food, and opportunities to unleash her signature brand of Midwestern passive aggression. For 5 straight years, I got nothing. I mean, not even a "hope your day's okay" text from Jenny, who manages to post 12 daily videos of her kids' snack prep, but can't be bothered to acknowledge the person who babysat those same kids when she urgently needed self-care. The one year I brought it up, she said, "Oh, I thought you didn't really do birthdays." Apparently, I do birthdays now, because as soon as the news hit that a local man won $4.2 million, guess who remembered my date of birth? Yep. Suddenly Barbara is calling me honey again, and Jenny's texting selfies of the kids wearing birthday hats like we're a Hallmark family. So I decided to throw a little dinner. Nothing too extravagant, just the private room at a ritzy downtown restaurant, the kind where they bring you seasonal amuse-bouches and the menu doesn't have prices. I told them it was my treat. Sent out invites. Everyone RSVP'd immediately, of course. It felt hilarious, honestly, like staging a play and watching the actors nail every cliché. Matt even wore a blazer. Jenny brought a bottle of wine that was clearly regifted. Barbara made a toast about how family is everything. And Aunt Carol had the gall to say she was so proud of the man I've become. I smiled, nodded, clinked glasses. But I hadn't brought them here to celebrate. Dessert was coming, and with it, my announcement. Let's just say what I revealed between bites of creme brulee made Aunt Carol vomit into her linen napkin. But for now, AIDA for setting them up for a fall they absolutely walked into on their own. So there we were, a picture-perfect family reunion assembled around bone china and overpriced candles. Barbara was 2 glasses of Chardonnay deep. Jenny wouldn't stop humble bragging about her son's advanced finger painting skills. And Matt was pitching me crypto investment strategies like I hadn't just won enough to buy my own damn island. The waiter brought out dessert, miniature sculptures of caramelized sugar and imported berries, which honestly looked too expensive to eat. But I took a bite just to prove I wasn't dreaming. Then I cleared my throat and stood up. I just want to say how grateful I am you're all here tonight. Really warms my heart. Barbara clutched her pearls like I'd just announced a terminal illness. Jenny was beaming, probably wondering how many zeros her birthday present was going to have next year. Everyone leaned in a little. Hungry. Hopeful. Dollar signs behind their pupils. I have an announcement, I said. The silence was immediate. Charged. Even Matt paused his crypto sales pitch. I'm not keeping the money. Pause. Jenny blinked. Barbara tilted her head like a confused golden retriever. I let it sink in for a beat, then continued. Well, not exactly. I've set aside a chunk for myself, obviously. Paid off my mortgage, upgraded my truck, and yeah, I booked a solo trip to Alaska. But the rest? I donated it. Cue collective jaw drop. I swear I heard a fork hit the floor. I gave most of it to the Sunshine Foster Network. You know, the one that sends kids to college. The one Aunt Carol said was probably a scam when I volunteered there. Aunt Carol choked mid-sip and actually vomited into her napkin. Not even a metaphor. Full body lurch. It was like a scene out of a soap opera. Dessert went flying. Barbara gasped like I'd murdered a bald eagle in front of her. Dean, you gave it away? I sure did, I said, reaching for my wine. Because they remembered my birthday last year. Sent a card. Signed by all the kids. Can't say the same for my own blood. Matt started to say something about wealth management, but I cut him off. Oh, and I kept receipts. Screenshots. 5 years of silence. The last time any of you acknowledged my birthday was 2019. So this year, I thought I'd return the favor with interest. Jenny looked like she'd been slapped with a frozen salmon. You can't be serious, she said, lips barely moving. Dead serious, I said. Anyway, dessert's on me. So is the wine. But the Uber home? That's on you. I left them there, frozen in their Michelin-starred horror, and walked out into the night feeling lighter than I have in years. So yeah, Reddit. ATA for inviting my family to a fancy dinner under the pretense of celebration just to tell them they're not getting a cent. If I am, I regret nothing. They taught me how to be invisible. I just taught them how it feels. You'd think after watching Aunt Carol hurl into his $70 napkin, my family might back off and give me space. Maybe reflect. Maybe think, maybe we were kind of garbage people. But no, I underestimated just how deep their entitlement runs, and oh boy, did they double down. I woke up the next morning to 23 unread messages, all from Barbara. First one, we need to talk, now. The last one? I think I'm having chest pains. Classic. 2 hours later, I get a call from Jenny. She's crying. Full sobs. The kind of fake cry that makes you wonder if she practices in the mirror. She says Barbara was so upset she had to be rushed to urgent care. It's your fault, Dean. She was so shocked by what you said. You know how sensitive she is. Let me pause here. My mother once told me to toughen up when I dislocated my shoulder falling off a bike at 12. But now she's suddenly a Victorian damsel overcome with emotion because I donated my own money to orphans instead of buying her a beach condo? Please. I asked which hospital. Jenny stuttered. Said, well, she didn't go. She's just lying down. Right. About 2 hours later, there's a knock at my door. It's Jenny, holding a giant scrapbook. Yes, a scrapbook. Like it's 2004 and we're in a Michaels commercial. The cover reads, Our Family Memories, in that deranged hot glue and glitter font that screams desperation. I made this for you, she says, to show you how much we love you. Inside? 3 pages of actual family photos, and then 26 blank ones labeled with captions like Dean's future birthday trip, Cancun, and Dean's big housewarming bash, with 3 exclamation marks and an actual printed out Zillow listing taped to the page. I stared at it, deadpan. Is this a memory scrapbook or a pitch deck? Jenny's smile dropped like a rock. You're being so mean, she said, voice shaking. Mom's devastated. Matt had to talk her out of writing you out of her will. I nearly laughed in her face. Pretty bold move for people who forgot my birthday 5 years in a row but suddenly remembered once the Powerball hit. Then she hit me with the real reason for her visit. The scrapbook was bait. The hook? A modest proposal. If I could just loan her and Matt $100,000 as a family investment, they could get out of their condo and into a forever home in the suburbs. She even had a PDF on her phone titled Dean's Family Reinvestment Fund, like she was pitching to Shark Tank. I told her the only fund I was managing was the No More BS Relief Foundation. She left in tears. Not even real ones, just the angry kind people squeeze out to make you feel bad. Since then, radio silence from Matt. Thank God. And Aunt Carol apparently has stress-induced gastritis. I guess revenge desserts don't sit well with delusions of entitlement. Barbara? Still alive. Still guilt-tripping. I got a voicemail last night. I don't know what I did to deserve this. I brought you into this world. Yeah, Barbara, but you haven't shown up for it since 2017. So here's a fun twist I didn't see coming. Matt, the same man who once bragged about being too emotionally intelligent for therapy, served me papers. Well, not real legal papers. Some dollar store version of a cease and desist letter printed on off-white inkjet paper, written in Comic Sans, I swear to God, demanding I refrain from further emotional manipulation of family members through financial coercion. I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my breakfast burrito. Apparently, my act of not giving him money is now being framed as financial abuse. Bold move, Cotton. Barbara is, of course, backing him up. He's just trying to protect the family, she said in a group text that included Jenny, Aunt Carol, and bizarrely, our old family dentist. Still not sure why he's in the thread. Jenny sent 17 messages in a row about how she was losing sleep and feeling unsafe around unpredictability. Meanwhile, I was unpredictably binge-watching Breaking Bad and drinking champagne out of a plastic stadium cup. But I digress. Let's get to the juicy part. A few days after the lawsuit nonsense, I get a DM on Instagram from someone I haven't talked to since high school. We'll call her Monica. She says, not sure if this is real or if your family's going full performance art, but I just found Matt on OnlyFans. Naturally, I spit out my drink. Now look, people can do what they want to make a living. No judgment there. But when the man filing fake lawsuits for emotional damages is also out here calling himself Crypto Daddy 44 while posing in tight boxer briefs holding a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm gonna need a minute. I subscribed. For research purposes, what I found was a digital fever dream. Inspirational finance quotes over thirst traps, personalized stock tips with shirtless selfies, and one disturbing video caption. Bitcoin isn't the only thing going up tonight. At that point, I had a choice. Do I let this go, or do I package this perfectly ironic content and send it anonymously to everyone he's ever tried to impress? Guess which one I picked? The fallout was instant. Matt deleted his entire LinkedIn within the hour. Jenny called me screaming, saying I'd ruined their brand. Barbara texted me a Bible verse and then followed it up with, I hope you find peace. And Carol, for her part, sent me a thumbs up emoji and hasn't said a word since. Pretty sure she thinks I work for the CIA now. Reddit, I'm not even mad anymore. I'm just fascinated. These people ignored me for years, but the second I stopped rolling over, they imploded faster than Matt's OnlyFans page when his gym buddies found out. If you thought the OnlyFans scandal would humble them, oh, sweet summer child. This family doesn't back down. They double down, triple down, and then form a goddamn prayer circle on my lawn like we're summoning financial repentance through interpretive scripture. It started with a text from Jenny that said, we're coming over to cleanse the energy. Please be open. I should have said no. I should have left town. Instead, I popped a lawn chair and watched the madness unfold like it was the halftime show of my own personal Super Bowl. Barbara showed up first, dragging a folding table and a giant jug of anointing oil she probably found on clearance at Hobby Lobby. Jenny followed with her 2 kids in matching God's Plan t-shirts and a Bluetooth speaker playing gospel remixes of Ed Sheeran songs. Matt was notably absent. Rumor has it he's rebranding. Not even kidding. The new handle is at Findom Profit, and I hate how much that makes sense. Anyway, back to the circle of holy entitlement. Barbara stood in my front yard with one hand raised to the sky and the other dramatically clutching the table like she was channeling Moses. Lord, guide Dean back to righteousness. Loosen the grip of greed from his heart. Greed. Greed. From the woman who once tried to expense a trip to Branson, Missouri, to our dead grandfather's well because she claimed he would have wanted her to heal near the fountains. I stepped out just long enough to say, please don't summon the Lord before coffee, and went back inside. Then came the final boss. Jenny's kid, Caleb 8M, who apparently decided to start his own business venture. He slips a piece of paper under my door, a crayon-scrawled contract titled Nintendo Agreement 2025. Terms included. Uncle Dean gives me $500 for Switch. I let him play 2 players sometimes. Also, I want the new Mario one with the hat. At the bottom, signed, Caleb, future millionaire. I'm not mad. I respect the hustle. But the audacity runs deep in this bloodline. Barbara later left me a voicemail saying that if I just blessed the family with a tithe, we could heal this tension. Jenny followed up with a video montage of old photos of us as kids set to Sarah McLachlan's Angel. Yes, the ASPCA commercial song. Yes, I laughed. And yes, I might be going to hell. So, Reddit, here I am. The evil son, the selfish brother, the cruel uncle who won't fund prayer circles or buy Switches for baby capitalists. Ida? Because if drawing boundaries and weaponizing karma makes me the villain, then hand me the black cape and cue the evil laugh. All right, buckle up. A week after the prayer circle circus and Caleb's Nintendo ransom note, I thought maybe, they'd let it go. But no, these people treat my lottery win like a cult treats the apocalypse. It's coming, it's life-changing, and if they yell long enough, they'll be saved. Enter the Family Forgiveness Barbecue. I get this handcrafted invitation in the mail. Like literal glitter-glued cardstock. Jenny must have found her old scrapbooking box and decided repentance requires a glue stick. The front said, no more secrets. Just sausages and salvation. I choked on my coffee. It was signed, with love, the family, as if I'm not fully aware that the family includes a man who once tried to sue me with a cease and desist printed in Comic Sans. No, I wasn't going to go. But then I found out they'd invited a pastor, yes, an actual ordained man of God, to preach a sermon about money, humility, and the dangers of idolizing material success. That's when I RSVP'd yes with 3 fire emojis. I showed up late, wearing sunglasses, blasting Rich Girl by Hall & Oates out of my truck with a $30 karaoke mic I picked up just for the occasion. The looks on their faces? Worth every cent. Matt was there, fresh from his crypto thirst trap hiatus, wearing a button-up and trying to act like he hadn't offered premium stock tips while half-naked online. Jenny was wearing this passive-aggressive t-shirt that said Faith Funds, and Barbara, bless her manipulative little heart, looked like she was about to cry from a place of deep religious discomfort and shallow financial panic. The pastor starts his sermon right as I'm plating my ribs. And it is tailored, y'all. He talks about modern Judas figures, windfall greed, abandoning your tribe in favor of golden idols, and my personal favorite, when the prodigal son forgets to come home. Jenny is nodding so hard her neck might sue her later. Barbara throws in a dramatic after every other sentence like she's auditioning for a gospel brunch. I let it go for about 15 minutes, then casually raise my hand like I'm asking a question in Sunday school. Quick follow-up, I say. In the parable of the prodigal son, didn't the family welcome him back with open arms when he returned broke? Silence. And isn't the whole point that he left, lived his life, made his choices, and came back on his own terms? Jenny stuttered something about missing the deeper message. That is the message, Jen. Y'all wanted the fatted calf. You just didn't realize I am the fatted calf now, and this calf buys his own damn barbecue sauce. Barbara gasped like I slapped her with a Bible. Matt dropped his hot dog. Aunt Carol muttered something about spiritual warfare and started fanning herself with a paper plate. I walked over to the karaoke mic, queued up the next track, and sang the most off-key but soul-liberating version of Take the Money and Run you've ever heard. Midway through the second verse, Jenny stormed off. The pastor pretended to take a very urgent phone call, and Barbara sat back down muttering, he gets this from his father. No one even touched the potato salad after that. Shame. So Reddit, AITA for hijacking a fake forgiveness barbecue with sarcasm, Hall and Oates, and a perfectly timed Bible reference? Because if standing up for myself makes me a heretic, I'll be the damn Pope of Petty. So, you'd think after the forgiveness barbecue turned into a slow-roasted meltdown with a karaoke soundtrack and a Bible mic drop, they'd call it tap out, wave the white flag and leave me to roll around in my lottery-funded solitude. But nope. Jenny decided it was time for the redemption arc. She DM'd me on Instagram after blocking and unblocking me first, because drama doesn't hit the same without a little passive-aggressive flair. Hey, can we maybe do a public post? Something nice? People are asking questions. People are asking questions. What she really meant was that the barbecue footage, which, yes, someone filmed, thanks, Aunt Carol, who's still figuring out how Instagram stories work, went semi-viral on Facebook. Apparently, her church ladies loved my karaoke but hated the idea that Jenny might be the villain in someone else's origin story. And worse, it hurt her brand. So she planned this spontaneous reconciliation video for her followers. She told me all I had to do was show up at the park and let her talk. I went purely out of morbid curiosity. Also, the park has good soft pretzels. She had a whole setup, tripod, ring light, emotional support yoga mat. Her kids were in matching Choose Kindness shirts, and Jenny was wearing a boho hat like she was about to launch an MLM for essential oils and forgiveness. The video starts with her smiling, all breathy and sincere. Hey guys, so today is really special. I'm here with someone I haven't seen eye to eye with in a long time. She pans the camera toward me, and I give it the blonkiest, most emotionally ambiguous stare I can muster. Like, full Michael Bluth after a Lucille quote energy. Jenny goes on a rambling monologue about growth and healing and how family always finds a way back. And just as she's wiping away what might have been a strategically placed I dropped tear, her phone lights up with a notification. AirPlay, How to Fake Cry Fast, is now playing on nearby devices. I swear to you, the universe must love me because somehow she had AirPlayed her search history onto her own ring light's Bluetooth speaker. I heard it. The camera caught it. And the best part? She was still live. Panic. Absolute glitch in the Matrix panic. She fumbled the phone, knocked over her matcha latte, and shrieked, "Why is this happening?" like she was in a found footage horror movie. Meanwhile, Caleb asked if the fake crying app was how she got out of helping with homework. She ended the live mid-chaos. I took my soft pretzel and left like an Oscar-winning villain, nodding at a squirrel like we were in on the same joke. That night, Jenny's story was mysteriously deleted. Her break from social media for mental clarity post went up shortly after, featuring a stock photo of a sunrise and a quote misattributed to Maya Angelou. Reddit, AITA for showing up and doing absolutely nothing while Jenny publicly exposed her own manipulation in high definition? Because I've never said a single lie to them, not once. I just gave them a camera, a mirror, and a stage. They did the rest. So, we've made it. The end of the line. The final chapter in this clown car saga of greed, guilt, and gourmet desserts. I thought the family drama had peaked after Jenny's accidental How to Fake Cry Fast live stream, But Reddit, I was wrong. Enter. Dual reading. Let me explain. Barbara, being the emotional arsonist she is, caught wind that I had updated my will post lottery win. This sparked a full family hysteria. Suddenly, everyone wanted to talk about legacies. Ginny texted me an article titled, "Why Family Wealth Should Stay in the Family." Matt sent me a quote from Warren Buffett, followed by a winky face. Barbara called me twice a day just to chat, which is how I knew something was seriously wrong. So when my lawyer invited me to a private reading of my late great-aunt Mildred's will, a woman who had been more maternal to me than Barbara ever was, I figured, hey, at least it'll be quiet. Wrong. Ginny, Matt, Barbara, and Aunt Carol showed up, dressed like it was the Oscars. Matt even wore cufflinks. Cufflinks. We all sat around this giant mahogany table like characters in a murder mystery. I swear someone was about 5 seconds from yelling, "The killer is in this room." The lawyer starts reading. There's the usual: donations to her bridge club, a small amount to the Humane Society, some antique furniture to her neighbor. Then, to my great-nephew Dean, who never once asked me for anything, not even when he could have, I leave the bulk of my estate. The house, the land, and my vintage jewelry collection. He actually listened when I talked about those. You're the only one who brought me soup when I was sick. The air went cold. Jenny looked like she aged 6 years and 5 seconds. Barbara's mouth opened and never closed again. Matt actually whispered, "No ing way," under his breath. And then, just when I thought it couldn't get juicier, the lawyer clears his throat and says, one final message recorded before her passing. They had queued up a video. There was Mildred, sitting in her floral armchair with a teacup in hand, looking like everyone's dream grandma, and death itself wouldn't dare rush her. To the rest of you, yes, I saw the way you circled me like buzzards every time I coughed. You ignored me for a decade until I broke my hip and suddenly everyone wanted to visit. Barbara, you left early that day because you had a hair appointment. Ginny, you brought me a smoothie and then asked if I'd signed my will yet. Matt, I don't know what your job is, but it smells like bullshit. I swear the lawyer paused it to ask if we needed a moment. I told him to hit play. Then came the mic drop. Carol, you're not getting anything either. But at least you were honest about it. That's why I left you something else. And she did. Mildred left Carol a sealed envelope. Right there in the room, Carol opens it, reads it, stares, then calmly puts it back in the envelope and says, "Welp, time for me to tell the truth." I braced myself. Carol stood up, looked directly at Barbara, and said, "You've been lying about Dean for years. Told everyone he was broke and bitter. I've got the group texts. The ones where you called him our little tax mistake. The ones where you said, he'll crack eventually and we'll scoop up what's left. Guess what? Mildred saw them too." The room exploded. Ginny started crying, not pretty tears, but hyperventilating, horror movie sobbing. Matt tried to say the messages were out of context. Barbara screamed something about family unity and this is not how Jesus would handle things, which, okay, bold coming from the woman who used Easter brunch to ask if I was hoarding the money. I walked out before anyone could spin it. Carol followed me. "I didn't do it for you," she said, lighting a cigarette like she was in a noir film. "I just hate hypocrisy more than I hate people." "And your mother?" "She's got enough to power a small city." Reddit. I stood there watching the only member of my family with the guts to finally call out the BS and realized that was the first honest moment I'd shared with any of them in years. So no, I didn't get my happy Hallmark ending. No group hug. No tearful apology montage. Just the truth, a clean cut, and peace. And honestly, that's worth more than the damn lottery.